everybody. Welcome back to Keith and Mike Watch Strange New Worlds. Strange New Show. That's what we call this. Today, boy, what an interesting and exciting episode to talk about. We are going to talk about a Space Adventure Hour Season 3, Episode 4. Mike, how you doing? Are we living in a simulated world?
I wish. And I wish I had the button to unsimulate. That said, yes, glad to be back. It feels like it's been a while, because it has been. I was away for work, and we've learned a decent lesson that has been Mike has to sit behind a table for 12 hours. Don't do a podcast.
Oh, yeah, that was...
Lesson learned.
The episode was about zombies. We didn't know one of them was going to host.
Listen, you live and you learn. You know, Keith said something to me today, but it applies, and it's great. He said, let's remember not to kill ourselves. We're doing this for fun. And he's right. And sometimes we just have, you know what? It's my goal was to try to drop the episodes on the day. Listen, Keith and I have one speed, and it's our speed. Some people have island time. We have our time. So I appreciate everyone's patience. Happy to be back. And Keith, as we're about to talk about, what did I say when season 3 started? There's a certain tone, a certain type of episode. I'm so
happy that was rhetorical, because I was like, I have no idea.
That I come to this show for. And I feel like this is a week where I get what I want.
Yes. Well, it is going to be an adventurous hour, no doubt. And we've made space for it.
Should we start over?
No, we got to sit in this. If we sat in last week, we are definitely going to go and sit in what we have done this week. But here's the exciting part. We feel like we're late. The next episode hasn't even aired yet.
Nope.
So it's fine. So A Space Adventure Hour aired on July 31st, 2025, if you're watching this from the future. And It's entirely possible. It's crazy that they're dropping so fast. The top song was still Ordinary. Alex Warren's Ordinary. Did you listen to Alex Warren's Ordinary between the...
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, could you give us maybe a little bit of what you would imagine it would be?
You thought this would be ordinary, but it's not. It's a little bit hairy. You should shave that. It's in a weird place.
What? Oh, no. Now we should start over. Inside joke from our other show, Puerto Rico!
You know, Keith, I got some information this week. We'll probably talk about more on Oopses. That's less on topic. Not Oops, not a show we do.
We haven't done that show in 5 years.
But, so it turns out, my brain works a little different. And
it sure does.
I'm learning all about that, and sometimes that's why I can actually begin singing something like that, begin a joke or begin a thought train, and not be the pilot of it. Turns out sometimes I'm not the conductor.
Yeah.
And so I'm just with you, wondering what's next.
Well, in case it hadn't been already thoroughly confirmed in your head, this is a 100% neurodivergent podcast.
100%?
100%. Though I would argue that that's probably true of nearly 100% of podcasts.
Yes. I would. And, and I think we should probably do a podcast about it, actually. But
just what we need, another show.
Yeah, right. I think the big difference, and man, there's so few positive things to talk about these days. But what is good about this timeline we're living in is when we grew up, Keith, any sort of neurodivergence was much more linear and or black or white. You had something, you didn't have something. If it wasn't exactly this way, presenting this way, you didn't have it. You were not, there was no help accessible.
And you had to meet, like, the threshold of needing a great deal of support needs in order to even meet that bar.
So that has changed, and most things are on some sort of a spectrum, and so there is a wide variety of wonderful flowers presenting all types of amazing brain function.
So many different flavors of ways that your brain can be different.
Yes, and so anyway, that's all to say Star Trek. There's actually, in this episode that we're about to talk about, I wish I had quoted it, but I didn't. But there is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful diatribe that the character that Uhura is playing in the show gives about science fiction and why it's wonderful. And it's sort of the thesis statement of all of the shows we do.
Of all of Star Trek. Yeah, they sort of like break the fourth wall and step out and say, like, here's what Star Trek is.
And it was like beautiful and wonderful and just this little oasis of purity inside. And I think actually a little bit rebellious, wouldn't you say, because of the Roddenberry of it all and who's the guy everybody's upset about all the time when we're doing Deep Space Nine?
Oh, Rick Berman?
Rick Berman, yeah. I think they sort of, it's level setting and railing against the sort of opposing forces and getting back to distilling back to what the original idea of science fiction and this show was. And I think it's
for
cool.
Sure. She's speaking for Roddenberry, for sure. And there is some punk rock to that.
Yeah.
And short skirts. Punk rock and short skirts, that's Roddenberry. Yeah, well, I'm excited to get into it. Anyway, the top movie continued to be Fantastic Four.
So good. I went and saw it. Did I tell you that?
I would say their second steps, not their first steps, because it's their second week. Is it good?
It was really, really good. 2 amazing superhero movies this summer. We got Superman and Fantastic Four, and they're both just about, you know what? It's bizarre that in our current existence, being good people, smart people, competent people, kind people is edgy.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that is the purpose of science fiction and fantasy, and I guess superhero stuff is somewhere in between the two of those. That, and it is often most successful when it is a reflection of our society. It is a reaction to and a reflection of the society. Like, it is most hard hitting when it's like, when you're right, where like empathy is an act of rebellion these days, and
there is a parallel to this episode, because what I love about, not to get too deep into it, but I love Superman so deeply, this movie, but I believe I might prefer the Fantastic Four of the two. Really? Because I love when artists or filmmakers or a team of filmmakers are so committed to an aesthetic. There's a very specific aesthetic in Fantastic Four that they are so committed to, visually, audibly, thematically, and they stick so much to it, and it tells so much for the story for them that it's awesome if you're into that type of thing, which is why this episode speaks to me as well.
Exciting, and I'm excited to talk about it. But
audibly
in its orally. Yeah.
Not orally.
With an A, not an or, not an O. When I went to music school, we had
so many giggles.
5 days a week of oral skills.
You didn't help you out much, buddy.
You don't know.
Yeah, you're right, I don't.
It's been a lot. But I mean, will they or will they? That's the.
Will they or when will they?
You're welcome, Internet.
Oh boy.
We have important stuff to do. Enough of this shenanigans. We have to talk about the weekly world news headline from 20 years previous. Oh gosh, that super tornadoes destroy the Midwest.
Ooh, that's the weekly world news?
Yeah.
Isn't that just yesterday?
I mean, it's well, at this point, we're not as we were aware that climate change was coming, but we weren't facing it down where we are today. But it is the size of a mountain.
Keith, remind me, the weekly world news bit that we're doing here, isn't the show today? What is the weekly world? How is this working? When did this happen?
It's from 20 years ago, because guess what? The weekly world news does not exist anymore.
I know, but why are we doing? What's 20 years have to do with anything?
Because we used to do a segment on some show about like what was happening in the world, and that was too depressing. So I wanted to do because we used to do like, hey, what was the cover of Time or whatever,
right,
when it came out, and it was just too damn depressing. So it was.
You ever do so many podcasts for so long you don't even know what the bits you're doing are anymore?
Oh please, we never did.
It's true.
Okay, so let's get into a space adventure hour. Did you clock who directed this?
Yeah, it's our boy Frakes.
It's Jonathan freaking Frakes, Commander Riker himself.
Although, did he direct the whole episode or just the cold open?
He did the whole episode.
Oh, okay.
He's a prolific Star Trek director, always has been, and super exciting. And there's a great little Easter egg during the bloopers at the end. Very funny.
He does. He does make an appearance as well. Did you see?
He does a cameo. Yeah.
Well, his voice does.
His voice cameo, of course. And I thought there was an opportunity for another cameo they didn't take, which I was surprised with.
Hopefully you can pepper me in with all of the Easter eggs. Apparently this is obviously rife with Easter eggs, and it was like a fraction of them made any sense to me.
Well, did you start watching any of the original series while you were out of town?
I did. I watched the first couple, and I mean, obviously the sound and the visual design is very original series, but I didn't catch. Also, the opening Kirk is incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, just if you catch anything and I don't mention it in my recap, then
Then you're not a real fan.
Yell at me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the internet will if I don't. This episode was written by Dana Horgan and Catherine Lynn.
Horgan?
Horgan with an A, not Horgon. Honestly.
That's a joke I wouldn't have made some years ago, Keith.
That's true. That is a joke a real horny fan would say. Horgani. Dana, who regrets me saying her name, worked on Subspace Rhapsody last, and Catherine Lynn worked on Those Old Scientists. So the fun, silly episodes of season 2 coming back for the fun, silly episode of season 3. So
Subspace Rhapsody still pops up on my running mix sometimes when I'm out there.
Does it really?
And it makes me giggle. I'm like, you're a nerd.
I mean, there weren't any signs of that in any other ways.
No.
Let's do something trivial, shall we?
I think we should.
Now, Keith, waste your time.
Yeah, but with what?
With trivial trivia. Okay, so during the holodeck recreation of our show we're parodying of a show that we're a spin-off of, Jess Bush used her natural accent. Australian.
Mm-hmm.
Jess Bush used her actual holodeck accent for the holodeck character, which is fun because all these people have accents that they're not using on the show.
Yeah, it confused me for a minute because it was an Australian accent, but she was talking about British stuff.
Right.
And I was like, is she doing a British accent? Because that's wrong. But then I looked it up and she's Australian, so I was like, okay.
Yeah. I have a flawless Australian accent, but that's an inside joke with my ex-wife. But
I don't get it, but I'm laughing. That's why we're friends, buddy.
100%. What you saw there? Friendship.
Yeah.
So Spock claims in this episode he is a descendant of the author Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. This claim is first mentioned in Star Trek VI, where Spock claimed an ancestor of mine coined a quote from Conan Doyle.
Cool. Yeah, that one I heard, and I wanted to put a pin in it. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah, it's sort of like a weird joke, and in Star Trek VI, there's sort of a joke about Shakespeare being Klingon, which I think this might have been a reaction to. So anyway, cute, interesting. Who knows? We don't know. So the blooper reel at the end of the episode shows Paul Wesley, who normally plays Kirk, obviously, trying to swing his leg over the back of the command chair on the set. This, of course, is a reference to the Riker maneuver. You know the Riker maneuver, yeah?
I've been doing the Riker maneuver my whole life.
There it is. The joke being extra, of course, that Jonathan Frakes directed this episode. And the same thing happened when Jack Quaid, as Brad Boimler, attempted the Riker maneuver in Those Old Scientists. But Boimler knew it to be the Riker maneuver.
That's funny.
So it's like, it is a real thing. It is a canon thing within the show. It is a thing you are parodying without being canon. It's a lot going on. It's really fun.
It's fun because, Keith, as a writer, you can speak to. There's a saying, a hat on a hat, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as a writer, you want to avoid too many hats on too many hats on too many cats, because at that point it's just too much. But sometimes the more hats on the more cats, the better. It's an art, not a science.
Well, I mean, it's like the rule of three is the rule of three until it's the rule of 17 and you're David Letterman and you've made an entire career out of it.
Right? Yeah.
So the rules are only guidelines. They're not rules. So, in the holodeck series, the producers of the show The Last Frontier were said to have been divorced. This is, again, a direct reference to the original production company of Star Trek The Original Series, which was Desilu Studios. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, that's...
Who that was founded by?
Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz.
That's right. And they were divorced at the time that
they
Star
do a
Trek
whole runner
premiered.
on Trek, obviously, in the Lucy documentary and the biopic of that.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting story, yeah.
Well, there you go.
She
And
fought
so-
really hard for Trek.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, Lucille Ball is Trek royalty. Full stop. There's no question. As well as comedy royalty and all of those things. So Kirk's holodeck captain character says he is known for his diction. Of course. William Shatner is so well known for his diction that it is called a Shatnerism. So much to talk about. Let's just introduce our guest stars. We got to get into this. We got to get. So our guest stars are Paul Wesley, of course, as James T. Kirk, only as the photo on the pad, and playing Maxwell Saint. We have Chris Myers as Gamble, Rong Fu as Jenna Mitchell, and Kira Guloian as the Agonian. And I had to look it up. And let me be very clear. I thought Kira was great playing the Gulonian. She was funny. She was great. Nailed all the bits. I was sort of expecting that to be a cameo. Like that it felt like a missed opportunity not to use one of our other cast members or a cast member from a different show to go in and do a big cameo as that alien creature because they're under all that makeup. You could literally put like Gates McFadden in there and it would be appropriate and fun.
Yeah. Yes. Also, the whole... Well, we'll get into it. Yes, I agree with you.
All right, you want to know who is always appropriate as a guest star, as a cameo, as... You never need to wear the full alien makeup because you're there in our hearts.
That's the patrons, Keith. You can see them here. They donate as little as $1 up to $15, $20, depending on where their hearts are that day or that month or that week. And it helps us offset the time we spoke about before on all of our shows. There are some extra goodies they get. On occasion, we'll do AMAs or we'll watch Trek movies together or other things. Sometimes we listen to music. Sometimes we just do random things. There's no rhyme or reason, and that's kind of the way we work. We're always owing them more and definitely giving them less. But for
Do you like broken promises?
But every week, without fail, I post myself watching the episode of Deep Space Nine we'll be reviewing, or this very show here, and sometimes we even live stream it. So you can join that for as low as $1 or as much as your heart is able. That's at patreon.com/K&M.
Yes, indeed. All right, let's go into our screening room, shall we?
I won't give it away, but I am. All right, let's just roll. Man, that little reverb at the end, Keith. I really enjoy.
I mean, I gotta make sure you sound good.
Yeah. So, Keith, guess what?
Yes.
This week, we're not opening on the Enterprise.
We are not.
On a bright, pretty dang cheesy sci-fi scene from an in-universe TV show entitled The Last Frontier. It's a loving, and you can feel the love, parody of the original series aesthetic. We see our boy James T. Kirk by Paul Wesley on the bridge of, I think they called it the USS Adventure, doing yeoman's William Shatner.
Shattering really hard.
Really hard. It's lovely. His first officer is played by Ortegas. Or the science officer is Chapel. They nailing the aesthetic. Their outfits are incredible. The soundscape is exactly pulled from the original series. You got the sort of radar blips and bloops. And even better than the aesthetic is the dialogue, which it's just camp everywhere. And there's a direct line We can't give them our brain cells. We need it for many science reasons. So the technobabble is there's like the fourth wall is obliterated here, but it's tongue in cheek. It's really, I think most of the time these teasers, the cold opens, and all the Trek properties kind of give you a sense of what the episode's going to be. In this one, they're basically saying if you're not into it, now would be the time to back out because this is what this episode's going to be. I mean, the alien with the eyeballs being held clearly on sticks is pretty glorious.
Hilarious.
How are you feeling about this?
Well, okay, so I have a whole bunch of different thoughts, but the first thing we should point out before I forget is the aspect ratio.
Yes, 4:3.
No, that's not 4. That's 16:9.
No, 16:9 is widescreen.
Yeah, this is widescreen. 4:3 would be cropped from this.
Oh yeah, but it's still.
So the
Oh, you're
the
right. Yes.
Strange New World.
It's 21 something.
Yeah, it is wider screen than your 16:9 televisions, but it's not 4:3, which is what the original series was. And I wonder how many production meetings they had debating whether or not to go all the way to 4:3 as opposed to 16:9.
Yeah, I guess that would have been like a real tiny square in the middle.
It would have been a tiny square. I honestly, I bet it was Paramount was like, no, you can't put 4:3. I mean, you can fill the screen. But for me, it's like, if you're going to do it, right? Why? Like, if you're going to change the aspect ratio for this, do 4:3. Do it accurate. You're doing all this work to reference 60s sci-fi. Do it. I'm not saying you do it in black and white because the original series was in color. And I'm not saying you shoot at lower definition, but give us our 4:3.
Yeah, I also noticed that they didn't play as much with the color grading as they did in the Trouble with Tribbles episode, which I think that goes along the same lines as I wish they had pushed it a little further as far as playing with form. And not just, but I think that does draw. The counter argument would be it draws the focus to the actual spoof of it. What we're really spoofing here is the sort of low budget scenario.
Well, right, and I think it's a little muddy as to what we're parodying here, right?
Yes,
because we're obviously doing a parody. It is a self-parody, which is a really interesting thing to do in the first place, because you're not just doing a sci-fi serial parody like we see on Voyager, where this is specifically and intentionally not Star Trek. Whereas this, we are parodying 60s sci-fi, but it is also very much about Star Trek.
Yeah, and what's even weird, I guess I'm not weird. I ultimately, first of all, it's a 6-minute cold open, which is awesome. Yeah. Also, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was the loving homage of it. I loved. The only thing about it that is the nit to pick for me is that I thought this is the show we were going to go into. This is the show that the holodeck was going to recreate. And that's
agreed.
They reference it in that first scene coming up.
Yeah.
They reference the show because her Amelia Moon is a spin-off of this show or something.
No. So Amelia Moon, basically it's a sort of like a 60s versions of Sherlock Holmes.
Right, but
which is a reference to the Next Gen because Data plays
correct, and Moriarty
Sherlock Holmes.
And all that, yeah.
And so then it is Sherlock Holmes doing a behind-the-scenes murder mystery about the production of this show.
Yeah, I guess the confusion, not confusion, the muddiness for me was what was this? How did we reference this again? The Last Frontier, because Kirk, it's Pike that brings it up, right?
Well, no, these are all the actors, the people producing this show.
Right. Yes. Got you.
So these are all the actors on the show.
Yes.
So we're going to go backstage of this show and do a murder mystery about it, yes. Which I think is a perfectly. I think it's a good choice. I think it's an interesting choice, and it allows you to talk a little bit more about the production of the original series. But I'm with you. I first thought it was going to take place in the world of this TV show, which would have been really fun. But again, that you start to veer into sort of Bride of Chaotica sort of a situation
Yeah, it's
here.
sort of
So I understand why I
too
didn't want
much
to.
about that,
But I guess for me the money part is the Greeking of the Star Trek. Now you can't have it be Kirk and McCoy and Spock, and so like I get you're sort of in a really difficult position, right? Because because the original series is canon, so you can't just do that.
Right. But I think that's why it is a smart choice to take them out of the characters. We see they're actors, right?
But they're also specifically doing Shatner, right? They're specifically making Star Trek references, but sort of Greeking it. It's interesting. Let me be clear. I like it. I really enjoyed this episode, but I think the muddiness of all of that.
I could see where it would turn some folk off. I could see that, but they've shown they don't give too many craps about that.
Certainly not. Certainly not. Anyway, take us forward.
So, oh man, my soundscapes are some people phaser fire going. So,
pew pew.
So after the cold open, we cut back to our real 23rd century USS Enterprise. Spa-ahn is logging a mission update that they're surveying this belt centered on a collapsing neutron star. It's supposed to be, they always say.
Wait, we got to go back here because
the opening.
Because there's a few things in this opening that I really enjoy. One are some of the intentional mistakes, like they're shaking in the wrong, and like one thing that is they're so specifically parodying here in this shot, right, about the original series is the weird and abrupt lighting changes. And so you'll see this in the original series. They'll have like a normal wash, and then like when it gets intense, they'll do like a pin spot on Kirk, and you get this super high contrasty thing, which is like out of nowhere and is really, really funny. So I appreciate
I like that
all
they stuck to the aesthetic all the way through the opening crawl.
Right, having their own crawl here in the original series font, which was it's like that was all really fun, and the sort of self parody was enjoyable, right? Because it was
100%.
It was not taking itself too seriously, and is able to like lovingly, make fun of some of the parts of the original series. Now I'd love for them, and I get it because this is a prequel, right? And it takes place in the Kirk era. I hope someday they do a version parody of like Next Gen, because there's lots of stuff there that would be really fun to like have a lighthearted parody.
Well, they've only got 11 episodes left, so I don't know if it's happening on this show or not.
It's not happening on this show. Yeah. Certainly not.
But so anyway, we're back, and we're going around this star. It's and it says it's supposed to be a routine study, so we know that that's going to come back and probably be a problem.
Yeah.
So the other thing we've got is number one is reviewing their newest recreational tech. They're calling it the Recreation Room, which I'm being told is a some reference to the animated series.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it got flagged for me. Essentially, it's a prototech holodeck, right? She is tasked with stress testing the simulator under real starship conditions, and Pike tells her to push it as hard as you can, just like when I was in Top Gun.
Obviously. Oh, we also learn. We got to go back to this screenshot. We learn in this picture here, we will have gravity the entire episode
because of her hair. Yeah. And she's super psyched to push it. She's been needing a challenge, and so there we go. Now, they mention it about 17 times that the holodeck consumes an enormous amount of processing power and energy, and it could hypothetically strain ship systems. But our new Scotty, who in this episode really steals my heart, I have to say, is very confident that he can juggle the power and it shouldn't be a problem. All right. And I remember Una's walks out and she says, let us know if you need any help, but I'm counting on you, basically.
Oh, yeah, and so we need to do two different things when we mention that. One, we have to set up how it's going to go wrong and put our ship in peril, because you can't have a holodeck issue without that.
Right.
And two, we have to put in a limitation which makes it realistic that Starfleet is going to shelf this until 1987.
Well, not only that, but if I'm not mistaken, Keith, and I'm far from an expert, but every holodeck episode I've ever seen,
Mm-hmm.
something happens that takes all the fail-safes off and we can die for real, right?
Of course. Well, you have to. I mean, like, and it's one of those things where this episode both reinforces all of the like ridiculous tropes about the holodeck,
Mm-hmm.
but it kind of has to. You got to play the hits, right? If you're gonna do a holodeck episode, you got to play the hits.
Yeah.
So, like, of course, like, oh no, the safety protocols are off. Like, the fact that it is so easy to
It's
have the
not
safety protocol, it is.
Well, it's sort of like security on Deep Space Nine. There is none.
There's no security. I mean, it's like the red shirts. It's just like it's so silly, and yet whatever. It's part of our world.
But to their credit, what I love is though we know it's gonna be a campy episode, though we know all these deep things, they playing it straight, and they play it straight. I enjoy that. Okay, so before we can go into the simulation, on find Spock doing his. He's continued his dance practice, and they talk about the tango, and he talks about what he's learned about her from the tango. There's a lot of heat, Keith. A lot of tension, a lot of heat.
This is how I started dating the ballroom dancer.
Now, what I found interesting, now it could be because of the tango, adds this sauce, is whereas when we had the chapel situation prior, it was a lot more like it felt very teenagey kind of. I have crushes, crushing, and that kind of a vibe. Whereas this is different. There's some like boneability taking place here.
I have thoughts on this.
I know you do, but here's what I'm going to say about it. Do we need it? I don't know. But I'll say this. You can make any relationship work for me if there's chemistry. And these actors have capital C chemistry.
So, are you standing Spa-ahn?
I think yes. I think I am. I know you're out. I knew instantly.
Set your phasers to Spa-ahn!
Well, they're about to Spa-ahn some children if this heat continues. All right. They dance, and she starts to tell him about what kind of holodeck program she's going to run. She wants to do like her Encyclopedia Brown. That was my favorite fantasy novel growing up. But it was the Amelia Moon series. 60s set detective stories with a stylish female who looks not a little bit like Carmen Sandiego. Excited by the idea, La'an tells the computer to create a mystery that can really challenge me. She's specific. Careful what you wish for.
Which is, this is where I can fill you in with the Trek lore. That is exactly the trap
Moriarty.
that created Moriarty.
Yeah, Data says it, right?
Well done, yes.
I've watched all of those. Those were my favorite TNG episodes.
Okay,
What do they call them? Locked room cases?
Yeah. Well,
basically
that was sort of
escape
the
rooms,
first,
right?
Yeah, escape room. So that's how we created Moriarty. Yeah, all right. Good on you.
So Scotty boosts the power to the rec room and ties the holodeck into the ship systems, right? Even loading in some transporter pattern data to enhance the realism, which feels to me like HIPAA would not allow that.
HIPAA should not allow that one,
right?
One bit.
Also, I don't see how it's helpful in any way, right? Like if I'm doing an escape room and all of a sudden it's like my friends, you know what? I guess it's no different than you putting everybody's name into Madden.
Yeah,
it makes it more realistic for you. Okay.
Exactly. And when you have the transporter data, it's basically going from on your video game, you have the rendering of the NPCs and then you have the rendering of the heroes.
Yeah,
like, they look way better.
Yeah, and I guess obviously it's the only reason we can get our cast onto the episode. Otherwise, we just have to hire a bunch of extras, and that's
it'd be weird.
Which is what Poker Face does every week, to its credit. But anyway, okay. She goes through the doors, and here we are. She's in this, of course we're in a mansion. It's a stormy night.
But first we have to address the next gen holodecky of it all.
Yeah, it looks great.
It looks like it did on the next gen. Interesting.
It does give them opportunities to sort of like patch in sort of, I don't want to call it retconning. In some cases, yes, but it also just kind of is some filling in the blanks, You get to see how all the sausage was made.
Yep. And yeah, my first thought when I saw, we're do a holodeck episode was, continuity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we get on to Encounter at Farpoint, the pilot of Next Gen, we're introducing the holodeck as this new thing that nobody had ever seen before, and we didn't have realistic human characters until later that season, where we did a new patch, we did a new update, and now the humans are believably human. So there's a bit of a continuity issue with all of this.
Well, I mean, they attempt to swing that away with putting it on the shelf at the end of the episode.
They try to put it back in. But we do establish that although the Federation didn't have it yet, other species were creating holodeck-ish things on Enterprise, which predates this. So whatever. It was close enough. I'll buy it.
What I think is important to note watching this episode is a huge difference. When we do the Data episodes, Data is very clinical, right, for the most part, the way he approaches these things. Spa-ahn, from the beginning, is freaking a kid in a candy store. It's as if Keith steps into the virtual reality. He would not keep his cool. He would be geeking out, and she is the whole time. I think there's some hubris here that gets addressed, but also she's just having fun.
She's playing.
Yeah, she's playing, exactly. She looks just
Which is the purpose of the holodeck, so.
100%. She looks exactly like Carmen Sandiego. They quote the detail, they talk about how great the holodeck is, cigarette smoke, whiskey glasses, the smells are very authentic, and her American accent's pretty good. Spock's there for a brief moment. He's running diagnostics on the environment. Then she runs into the first player, right? Joni Glass, Hollywood PR agent who discovered the body. Keith, can I say something a little hot take? Actually,
let's hear it.
So all this time, I haven't loved Uhura. I found her acting to be a little suspect.
Wow.
However, I think her Joni Glass is awesome. So well realized. I love the character, and I'm like, oh, maybe I just don't like the writing for Uhura. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Anyway, fast-talking PR agent. Gooding, Celia Rose Gooding is doing a great job here. 60s costuming is off the charts. She's the victim's agent, publicist. She starts managing the situation. Spa-ahn quickly realizes what Scotty did. The holodeck characters look exactly like the crewmates. Okay, now we're getting into the murder mystery of it all, and I'm going to admit up front, the details of all of this, Mishigas, I barely paid any attention to it. I had a suspicion.
Are they Misha-lost on you?
The specifics of it really don't matter too much. It's not like this is the Glass Onion and it's gonna be some great reveal. It's gonna be pretty paint by numbers. But anyway, here's what I've jotted down. If my notes are wrong, sue me. The body of Tony Hart is the studio exec. He's lying dead in the bathroom. He's in his hot tub. Gloss explains she got there early and found him strangled. La'ana's inner monologue is that Tony Hart was the head of the head of the movie studio or the TV studio, and the executive producer on The Lost Frontier, that show we saw in the beginning.
Star Trek.
Furthermore, the word of the impending cancellation of the show has leaked. Everyone connected to the show had that motive to be upset. So now we're going to round up the guests. We have to get them all in one room. It's very typical mystery stuff. It's classic whodunit. They're conventionally all presented as Tony had invited the show's key people to the party, likely to break the cancellation news. She declares the estate at crime scenes, no one leaves. We've got TK Bellows, the Last Frontier creator, portrayed by Captain Pike, but here we see a nervous, whiskey-soaked producer who I'm told is exactly Roddenberry, if I was to go look him up.
Mm-hmm. Yep, fair enough, yeah.
Vaguely alcoholic and appears jittery with drink in hand. Then we've got Sonny Lapino, the producer, and Tony's ex-wife, played by Una, in a sharp business suit. Former actress turned financier. She bankrolled The Last Frontier. She, I believe, is based loosely off Lucille Ball, is my guess?
It would seem like it, yeah.
She's the first to be accused. They find her lipstick, the exact shade.
What a great costume, that whole, the hair, the makeup, the costume, the everything. That's fantastic.
I have to mention, do you know how, when I'm wrong, I like to say I was wrong. I had some trepidation about, in season 1 specifically, about Rebecca Romaine.
Mm-hmm.
I take it back. She's excellent. This season specifically, they seem to have like really found who her character is, and I've found her to be excellent.
Yeah, I think that's true. Like I think it's hard for the first officers, right? And Riker had the same thing. Speaking of Frakes, is trying to figure out what that character is, because the first officer is usually just sort of like straight-laced, hard-ass. That's the first officer's job.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not much of a character. And so the same thing happened with Frakes. At some point, in starting season 3, they realized, Frakes, the person, is this really gregarious, funny, warm person who had been playing this sort of like hard ass. And they're like, maybe we should just add more of that into the character of
Give
Riker.
him a trombone and let him blow.
Yeah, give him a trombone, let him be charming, let him be fun, let him be warm, and thus the character of Riker was developed. Like, the character of Riker barely exists in the first season or 2 of Next Gen.
So then we've got the Last Frontier's one of the leading ladies. We got Christine Chappell, Jess Bush doing her Australian accent as Adelaide Shaw. Beautiful but frustrated with her bimbo role in the show, which I think is a nod to Majel Barrett and kind of what was taking place in the 60s and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there's a specific reference to a female first officer is not believable. And
that's
of
right.
course, Majel Barrett was the first officer in the unaired pilot.
Right, the unaired pilot. You mentioned that.
Demoted to a nurse.
We've also got Maxwell Saint, the macho star by Jim Kirk's hologram. Flashy uniform. He's vain, thick-headed, melodramatic, clearly spoofing Shatner. Even delivers lines with particular diction. He loudly denies knowing anything about the cancellation, seemingly genuinely dim-witted about the whole affair. We've got Lee Woods, Ortegas, sporting the cowboy hat and boots, which I found to be really awesome. I guess that's something about the space western type of thing. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because the Star Trek was sort of pitched as a western in space.
The Easter egg I noticed was, I'm an actor, not a doctor.
Mm-hmm, of course.
Yeah. And we've also got Adelaide's boyfriend, Mbenga, so 60s with his afro and awesome outfit. He's an outsider, an artistic who admires Sonny's ideals. He's mild-mannered, but the lover of one of the stars. He's entangled in the drama. He's sort of like... They barely gave much time to his sort of how he plays.
Yeah, they ran out of characters, and they just gave him a cool outfit and let the outfit do the work.
Tensions flare immediately. It's a game of Clue. She's a kid in a candy shop trying to figure it all out.
Assemblage of actors
costuming.
And costumes.
That's like when you get invited to one of those murder mystery games where you all dress up and play. Basically,
100%. I would definitely be Pike.
Are those oranges on the table or just red tomatoes?
I think they are plastic oranges.
Okay.
From
I was hoping it was just a bowl of tomatoes. That would have been great.
A bowl of tomatoes. It could be. You know what? It's your holodeck, buddy. It can be whatever you want it to be. So they're sort of realizing that, like, hey, wait a minute. Too much of the RAM of the ship is being used up here. What's going on? That's weird. So she goes to talk to Scotty and say, why are you using all of our RAM?
Right, and he's trying to rebalance the load. He's trying to do all kinds of stuff. So it's not going great.
Well, and Scotty's basic story is he's in over his head, but he won't ask for help.
Yeah, and we get the sort of like trauma of it all later in the episode, but
right.
And I can't tell if she's just like trying to give him an opportunity, but it doesn't seem like it. It just seems like this is just highlighting that we're out.
I think she's like, what's going on here? Why is the ship acting weirdly? But she's still letting him do his thing. And I do think we're sort of confirming here that he's taken over as chief engineer.
Yes, they mention Peolia a few times, but she's nowhere to be found. But he just keeps saying, I got it. He's just keeps trying to reroute conduits and all that kind of stuff. But
I mean, folks, there are countless episodes on our series where you can see Mike's face behind the curtain doing exactly that, trying to keep, because he's got this 42 monitors and the red comes up and he's trying to keep our ship from crashing.
I also now, I love Keith because I realize that even if you have your document and you're reading it, the second we start talking over here and then you try to go back to where you just were, you're gone.
Yeah, you
it's
feel
gone.
my pain a little bit.
You're
now.
like, I don't know where I was. Just swallow. You stammer. So like the bullet points here is Maxwell Saint. He lets it slip that he had a fight with Tony, and he had a scuffle over the direction of the show and the popularity, and he had a couple affairs, but he's like, you work with people, things happen. He shrugs, and he not so subtly hints at the sort of tension between Spock and looking back now, Spock doesn't respond the way she does. Clearly he's Klingon, but also, maybe he's
Klingon?
Maybe he's...
Yeah, well...
Vulcan, sorry.
We should point out that at this point, she has also brought in what she thinks to be Spock.
Right, she asks the computer to give her a partner.
And she thinks it's actually Spock.
Yeah, but at the very end, before the reveal, I thought to myself, especially in this scene here, I was like, wow, he's very future Spock here. Cold, detached, analytical.
He's not nearly as emo as our Spock.
Which it's surprising that I didn't catch it earlier, but I didn't.
I didn't either.
Yeah. They're all, I mean, it's just like she's talking about, she's argued about the portrayal of women, and she was frustrating. It gives her a motive,
Right, so she's,
This is very, this reminded me of is like Knives Out on Netflix.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Very much we're interviewing, and she gives a great performance here. In fact, they had me think she was going to be the killer because I was like, oh, look how hard she's acting. She's acting so hard. Look, I can bring up tears. Look, I can. So, as much as I wasn't invested in the actual specific of the murder mystery, I found myself making some guesses, which I think is what you want to happen.
And, again, because we're doing a lot of playing with the fourth wall here, she's speaking for Majel Barrett in this section of it, which is a nice little Easter egg there to again, they're both loving and lovingly critiquing both the original series and the behind the scenes production of the original series, which
is cool.
Fun.
Yeah. And I imagine researched. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, honestly, a little bit better research than a lot of their Trek stuff. They play a little fast and loose with the canon.
So this was my favorite one, I have to say, because as we said, they kind of ran out of story and also caring. Because if this is what I've gathered, you tell me what you feel about this. And this is, he really only loves the arts, and he respected Sonny, so he couldn't have killed him because he was promoting art and not money. And something about sensationalism and meaningful storytelling, and he's an artist, and his alibi is that he was at a party or something.
Well, I mean, he's speaking for the, he's sort of like a beatnik a little bit, speaking for the original intent of what Star Trek is. Star Trek is about, ideas and science and progressive politics and empathy, and so... He's speaking for the subtext of Star Trek. Yeah.
But I believe next is kind of a spoiler alert, maybe one of my favorite beats of the episode. We find him getting ready to leave, and he talks about how they were going to fire him, and he didn't want to get fired, and so he came to ask for his job back, basically.
Yeah. Giving a performance that clearly says, I'm having a blast.
Oh, yeah. Everybody is having a blast. You can see the actors having a blast. You can see the actor acting the character having a blast. Really great. So here Spock recognizes that the eponymous chandelier is about to fall, hearkening to some Phantom of the Opera. He saves
Disaster beyond their imagination.
He saves her. This is where we have the reveal that a shard of glass cut her, and now the peril is real.
Yeah, right. We have to have the moment where we realize the safeties are off.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's a red shirt who dies,
Which,
but
in
not this time.
the shock of all shocks, someone behaves exactly how you would expect them to in real life, right? Which is, you know what? It's dangerous now. Cancel the whole thing. Shut the program down. It's not ready.
Right.
Which almost never happens. Usually they double down in this point. They're like, we got to do it. We got to see it through. And they're like,
fun.
yeah, maybe we should go.
Well, the old, like, and this is another one of those, like, holodeck tropes. The only way to save yourself when the holodeck, because the holodeck is always locked, you can't communicate, you can't turn it off, and the safeties are off. And the only way to be released from it is to finish the program.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, again, always the solution. You got to play it out.
So, in a surprising turn, Scotty's starting to realize that maybe he is out of his over his head, and he can't get a hold of them even. And so he talks to the communications officer here and says, "Hey, hypothetically, if I needed some help with some ish that went wrong, could you hypothetically help me?" Which is a fun nod to every neurodivergent person in the universe who's tried to find strategies to ask for help without asking for help.
100%. It's always hypothetical.
Yeah. Back in the mansion, we have, I think this is this where the speech comes up? My science fiction speech? Or did we already pass that?
No, I think it's here. Or it'll be here eventually, yeah.
Yeah, there's infighting and...
They're all like, I didn't do it, you did it, blah, 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 the usual.
Get us out of here. I think this is after... now we talk to Gloss again, and we get this really great speech I mentioned in the beginning of the show here about science fiction in general, and Trek, and she explains, "The last frontier," hard quotes, "is giving viewers a reflection of their own world through the lens of fantasy. Social commentary with rubber masks and buried metaphors." And that's why the potential cancellation is travesty. These stories can show people parts of themselves they've never seen before and give them hope. But none of that is possible if it's canceled after one season.
Right. And none of it was possible in that culture unless you hid it behind the rubber mask of sci-fi.
And what I thought was really great about that speech is great writing and great direction by Frakes, because not only are we hearing the speech and the words are really wonderful and it's well performed, but also there's constant reaction takes to Spa-ahn, and you can see in her face with no dialogue that she is one-to-one recognizing that's what she saw in the Amelia Moon, and that's what she saw in like she needed that representation and it affected her, right?
Well, because it's talking about the purpose of sci-fi, but it's also talking about the purpose of art, right? As a way to interpret our existence on this planet, to interpret feelings, to interpret ideas, to interpret relationships. It's all the purpose of art.
Yeah, that's right, Keith. And that is the state of the art, as Sondheim would say.
Bit by bit.
And it turns out Spa-ahn is trying to put it together unsuccessfully. And then there are so many red alerts and beeps and boops, and we see that the neutron star is gonna bop. She's gonna blow. Yeah. And if only we could get away.
Yeah, can't get away. It'd be really easy to get away if
we had any power.
If we didn't need to, we were about to blue screen the entire ship with your little game. And
here. Like Keith said, deer in headlights and those moments. What I love coming up is Pike compassionately tells Scotty to get his ish together. Oh, by the way, we should mention that. Remember last week, the only benefit, or maybe 2 weeks ago, we were like, at least we're seeing some actual consequences. Well, the next week, Ortegas is out of detention, and she's back because they need someone to fly the ship again.
Gotta fly the ship.
Yeah.
Gotta fly the ship.
So Scotty is saying, I love Scotty here, because he's literally just punching cords into the wall, plugging shit in. He's like, I can give you, how about 12 seconds or 30 seconds or something like that?
Well, I'll tell you exactly what Scotty is doing right now. He is trying to close all the pop-ups as they're coming in faster than he's... Remember those days?
Yeah. He's like, I should have got a VPN.
Oh God, pop up, close it, my mom's coming in.
Oh my God. And pretty soon you just you turn the whole computer off and I don't know what happened.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
This picture kind of looks like the result of that.
Come on, Keith. But it turns out 30 seconds is all Ortegas needs because she flies that ship directly out of trouble.
Yeah, sure does.
Which is good for Scotty.
It is.
So, Uhura has an idea that Scotty can communicate with us inside the simulation if he himself becomes part of the simulation. He basically has to, like, fool the AI in some sort of way. Right,
which is crazy and, like, what a fun...
So, thankfully, they find some 16 millimeter in the fire.
Right, which was the murder weapon.
Yep.
And they see some behind-the-scenes footage.
Because there's a projector, as there would be, I guess, in the guy's house, which makes sense. At first, I was like, how'd they find that? But it makes sense.
It makes sense. It's a film producer.
How they would know how to use a projector, I guess Spock could figure that out. They're geniuses.
Yeah, for sure.
So we see the behind-the-scenes stuff, and basically we find that he wasn't getting fired as much, or here we get the proof that he wasn't going to get fired, or they wasn't going to cancel the show. He was going to get canned, basically.
Right. He was going to go on doing his own movie.
Giving us indication that he was the actual killer, maybe? That's what I'm kind of led to believe in that moment. But we see the PA, who is Scotty, sneak up and basically say, hey... Actually, what's interesting is he delivers information we already know.
Right. He's like, please finish this.
Yeah. And we're like, okay, we knew that in the first act.
Like, we're doing it. Well, he said, like, maybe speed through. Maybe don't do the side missions.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. Anyway. Basically, now there's all kinds of volatility, and this is where they basically hug, right?
Well, yeah. Well, they go and
well, they have this big confrontation with the gun, and he's drunk now, and that's incredible shot.
That is a.
It turns out that he maybe didn't kill anybody, but then he decides he's gonna shoot them, and she goes to save Spock, and Spock gets shot. And interestingly, I thought when he starts to bleed, it was blue blood.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, is Vulcan blood blue?
It's green. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a tell or whatever. So then she figures it out because when she hugs Spock, it's not the same heat, Keith.
No.
You know what I mean? There's mild, and then there's spicy jalapeno.
Yeah.
And during that tango, she got that spicy jalapeno. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And here she's just getting the mild barbecue or the mild buffalo, and she knows the difference.
She was because with that green blood, she was hoping for the Baja Blast.
Yep, that.
She realizes that he was the murderer.
He was the murderer, and then lovingly, the holodeck was like, "Okay,
nailed it.
Not gonna kill you anymore. You did it."
Well, but that's the thing. She solved the mystery. She finished the program, and by the rules of holodeck, it must shut down immediately.
It reminded me of this escape room place that I go to with some of my friends, and there's a rack of T-shirts there. Right now, you think escape rooms can't be that successful. Like monetarily, right? It's not like they're raking in money. The weirdest thing about this escape room place, Keith, is you are not allowed to buy the T-shirt unless you escape.
Of course, sure.
Aren't you leaving a great percentage?
Mean something. It's gonna mean something.
No. Well, you know what? Paying my rent means a lot more. Anyway.
Well, but I'm not gonna buy a T-shirt I haven't earned.
I guess that's fair.
So,
okay,
I am more likely to buy it if I have earned it.
We get out. And in the debrief, she ain't happy about the test, and thankfully, even though she had fun, she's like, yeah, it ain't ready for prime time, and they decide that they are going to basically put it on the shelf, right?
Although it's interesting because Scotty basically gives the solution, which is what we end up using. Just have it on its own power source and have it on its own brain.
Right, but that's like me saying, hey, can we buy a second TV and a separate internet connection to run my VR headset? And my wife would be like, no, let's wait until we save a little money, and that's even remotely practical. I think
Bish, how many TVs do you have in your house right now?
No, you're right, but I had to do those on the secret, and and Captain Pike, i.e. Jen, should know about it, which is what Pike does in his report. He's like, just put in the report that it's not ready and blah, blah, blah. And then there's another report that gets filed here. And what I think is, look, say what you will, but at least there is some, like, actual honesty between the two of these folks. They are open with their emotions. They are frank.
Yeah, they handle it like adults, like you said.
And they kiss. And I don't know what your problem with it is. Like, maybe, I mean, clearly, from what I have seen in the movies and what Spock is never ensconced, right? So these are all doomed to fail. Also, so there is some melancholy to that, but
it's just like it has become Grey's Anatomy. Like, it's half Star Trek, it's half who's Spock banging this season.
I'm okay with it. I know you don't, but I kind of like this one better. And forget Spock for a second. Dude, remember the first 2 seasons of this show where Spa-ahn was just like, it's just trauma dump. Every week it's like another. So let her have beat. Let her get some spicy jalapeno, man.
So have her bang someone else. Like, why is it always Spock? Maybe I'm just envious of Spock.
Have you seen this dude?
But, like, honestly,
who's she gonna bang?
For me, I say Spa-ahn and Ortega should get together. That's 1,000,000 times more interesting. We don't have any canon issues with it. And, like, it's 1,000 times more interesting.
There's still time.
Yeah, but Spock gonna mow through the entire cast before we,
Hey, let me tell you this. I love a spicy jalapeno, but there's other flavors of Dorito, baby.
That's what I'm saying, so it shouldn't be Spock.
Why settle for just Spock? Get a variety pack, baby.
Okay, yeah, but, like, oh my god. It's just like okay, like, why, like, I don't want to spend another season watching a Spock will they, won't they, when Keith, we know the answer is they won't they.
When it was Chapel, you didn't have a problem, did you?
No, I didn't. I wanted Spock out of the way. I wanted him out of the picture, too.
At least there's more chemistry here, in my opinion.
Yeah, fair.
And it gets us a chance for another breakup, for more trauma for her, and for him to become like, you know what, I don't need these human emotions.
Well, yeah. Are we just sort of like gonna like break his heart out of feelings?
But it's a great kiss. If the heat didn't radiate off the screen for you, you need to go get checked. That's all I'm saying. Man, it's just something about the tango, dude. I can't watch a tango without thinking I'm watching softcore. I don't care who it's doing the tango. I'm like, wow, this is hot.
I mean, like I said, I ended up dating a world champion ballroom dancer doing a tango lesson. Yeah, so I'm with you.
So the outro, which is awesome, just like the front screed, they also do a whole extended blooper reel, which I think is really, really funny.
I loved the blooper reel, and I love the fact that they did their whole credits with the original series.
And it did seem like a bit of a combination. I don't know for sure. Oh, let me shrink it back. It did seem like they did a combination of staged bloopers as well as actual bloopers from the filming of the opening cold open.
I didn't know if, I had a hard, I mean, obviously many of them were staged. I couldn't really tell if any of them were not staged.
And then, of course, we hear Frakes at the very end. He yells, "And cut, great work, everyone," which is awesome.
Super, super fun, and they used the original series theme, which they parodied in the fake titles, which was also sort of fun and interesting. So, lots to think about here.
Punch that shit! Punch it, punch it, punch it! Just punch it, man, just punch it! Punch it, punch it, punch it! Let's punch it. Hit it. Yo, Adrian!
It's the Punchies!
Wow. There it is.
Keith, I guess you go first.
Yeah, I mean, my brain says it's the exploration of like what sci-fi means and what the show means and all of that. Because obviously that's cool. Honestly, for me, I think my favorite part was the world of the fake show. And I think, the fake bloopers, and for me, it's the more subtle stuff. For me, I think my favorite moment, the moment that I was like, ha, was when they did the weird abrupt lighting shift onto fake Kirk's face when it got intense, right? Mm-hmm. Because that was such a it's not like the deepest of cuts, but it's a deeper cut that if you're really paying attention on the production level, it's just really fun. So I enjoyed the fact that they were able to poke a little fun at the mothership, but also with love. So I like that part.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I think that is my favorite bit. And I think the best moment specifically is the treatise of science fiction. So that is my official choice. But I think, once again, it's the... And we'll wrap this into the stem bolts. So let me leave it there.
Okay.
Oops. Whoops.
Whoa.
You get some stem bolts. Hell yeah, they are self-sealing. Here are some stem bolts for you.
I mean, I guess officially you should go first, but I'm gonna do it.
Do it.
It's vibes, baby. Right? Like, I am... Yep. It's vibes. And... as I mentioned, the show, when it gets the tone right, just works for me for what I want. It's sort of like when you're at the movies and you get that perfect combination of like junior mint, sweet with the popcorn salty, you got a frosty, and it's before it makes you sick. There's that golden moment where it's just the perfect combination, and you got the movie, and you're just like, this is what I want. This is what it's delivering me. I don't think it reaches the high heights of your Subspace Rhapsody or your this was Trouble with Tribbles was this show, right? Or that was Deep Space Nine. Yeah. Same as far as Pistache and like Amish and stuff. I don't think it quite reaches that height. Those heights. Homage? Did I say Amish?
Is it Amish?
Well, it doesn't get there either. Too much. There's way too much technology.
There's not a lot of sci-fi in the
But that said, when you get the cast, the writing, which is clearly, like you said, referencing the mothership with it's. I mean, it's all approved, right? So clearly they're sort of like, I think, cherry picking the good stuff, which I think is fine for them to do. And also having so much fun. The writers are clearly having fun. The actors are clearly having fun. The production is having a blast. To the point where we both said, we wish they had gone even farther with it. The aspect ratio, the color grading, like, just go for it. Just, there's no rules. You had a musical. Just freaking go. You had a LARPing episode. Yeah. Just let it rip, man. So, sure. Maybe you're right. Maybe the studio was like, yeah, pull it back. We received a lot of criticism, whatever. But at this point, you know how many episodes are left, so just go for it. They have a puppet episode coming next season. Just let it go.
Right.
But
right.
It was a ton of fun. I enjoy a whodunit. This one didn't really hit all the beats of caring up too much about it. So that's a nit. But ultimately, the vibes are strong. And I think that's, who knows? We'll talk about it next year. But I think that's where we're going to ultimately come down on this show. Is like, the vibes, so strong. Mm-hmm. The specifics is where is where it gets a little muddy. I would agree that maybe we're leaning a little too hard into the Grey's Anatomy of it all, but I think it's clearly intentional. I feel like that's something they wanna, they're wanting this show to have about. You know what I mean? So cool. Would it be better if it wasn't Spock, who was pretty classically not the guy? Probably, but this is an opportunity for them to explore that stuff. All right, cool. Listen, give me that heat. All that said, Keith, where have I ranked the episodes this year?
This year you gave Hegemony Part 2 76, Wedding Bell Blues 91, and Shuttle to Kenfori at 74.
So this one's right up there. So you know what I like these days. You know the flavor of ice creams I like. This has given me the Wedding Bell Blues vibes. However, I feel like that episode was more successful in sticking the landing and being about something and going on a journey, whereas this one was a fun ride, but I don't know that it was more than a simulation that we went too far. So, but I still think we're way B+. So I'm going to go 88 SSBs for Space Adventure Hour.
Yeah, well, that's very interesting. Yeah, I agree with you. This is a vibes episode, and I think it gets a lot right. I think a lot of it is really fun. It is clear that the show is having fun, the cast is having fun, Frakes was having fun. I love the sort of wink and nod to the original series, and I love sort of telling the behind the scenes of that a little bit. Like I said, when you're doing self-parody and you have to Greek yourself, it gets kind of muddy. And I wish that there was a way that they didn't have to Greek the parody, right? Because like you said, like there's like a puppet episode, there's a musical episode. Do Star Trek.
Yeah.
Right? Like do some fantasy that the world is like I don't know, like there's a way to do it. I mean, Supernatural did my favorite of all the Supernatural episodes. Like they get thrown into an alternate universe where there's a TV show called Supernatural, and he has to pretend like he's an actor playing himself doing a fake TV show version of it. Was so fun. There's a way to do it, so just do it. Right? Go in and parody yourself and do the actual show. So, same thing with the murder mystery. I would have loved for the actual mystery to be a little more interesting and a little clearer. It's kind of I loved having Spock be the murderer and have the computer like integrate. I think this is a real person and it's not. I loved that twist. I wish the rest of it were a little cleaner and a little more buttoned up. But again, it's fun. The costume design of it, the all of that, it's great. So like, the Spa-ahn, I've already said all I need to say about that. Like, what made Nimoy's Spock the sex symbol that he was, is that he wasn't sold as a sex symbol. He was smoldering as the distance one, while Kirk was humping the leg of anything that moved. Spock was the one standing to the side, smoldering, and that's why Spock was a sex symbol. This Spock is the horniest, character
but Pike
on the
is in
entire
the committed relationship, so they just did a flippy floppy.
Right, but it's sort of like it's you could flippy floppy us, but it doesn't make sense.
No,
it doesn't make sense. You're the horn dog. I'm the smolder. I would be weird if I were the horn dog, right?
That's what everybody says. Keith is the smolder. That's what they say.
That's what I'm saying. I'm all uptight and I'm overpressed, and that's the fun. Can you unlock him? That's the question.
That was my favorite comment you've ever had.
So I just and immediately the next freaking episode after Resolve Chapel, guys, come on. You have so many opportunities if you want to do a love story.
I know, but the chemistry's so good.
Yeah, but they're actors. You can have chemistry with anybody. That's the whole point.
I didn't think him and Chapel had any chemistry.
Well, okay, so have them bang in real life. I don't need to that's not my business. I don't want that. It's not.
Am I gonna have that on Paramount?
As long as they're willing, I'll subscribe to Paramount Red or whatever it would be. If it's consensual, sure, of course. But I want it out of my Star Trek. They can wear the costumes. Anyway, my point is, it's just not for me.
Okay, that's fair.
So, that said, all of that criticism aside, it's a fun episode. I really enjoyed it. I'll watch it again. It gets 84.
Oh.
Self-filling stem balls.
We're very close. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. We're actually not that far apart.
I don't want to see them bang. I mean, I'll watch it.
I mean, I think statement 1 invalidates statement 2, sir. Well, so much like when we watch this episode again, it will feel different through the lens of time, which is the next episode of Strange New Worlds coming up next week. Check out our other shows, check out our social media, blah, blah, blah. Don't miss out on Keith and Mike Watch Deep Space Nine. Nearing the end of the series. What a journey. So much fun. So
I hate
like
that.
and subscribe.
We're gonna have to cry again.
We're gonna cry hard.
Yeah.
No question. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Do all of our things. Blah, blah, blah. We'll see you next week. Till then.
No spoilers, folks. Come on. We're so close.
Don't spoil anything. I will slap you silly. Till then, this has been Strange New Show. Keith and Mike watch Strange New Worlds. He's the horn dog. I'm the smolder. Thank you for watching K&M Entertainment. If you enjoyed our particular brand of nonsense, please like and subscribe. Or become one of our patrons at patreon.com/KNM.